Good morning, party people. What's going on? Hey, thanks for watching this video. In this video, I'm gonna tell you all the dumbass mistakes I made after residency and kind of give you hopefully an insight into how jobs and careers and practices and groups and all that stuff, medical groups, kind of work. And mostly it's going to be based on my experience, obviously, but I'll tell you a little bit more too. So first, let me tell you that when I was in residency, I wanted to just go to my hometown and practice for the rest of my life. So I wanted to be a general surgeon, not do anything terribly exciting, and just maybe do hernias, gallbladders, appendix, maybe a little colon cancer here and there, some scopes, and take it easy and ski my brains out and enjoy life and the outdoors and all that. And so I talked to the hospital in my hometown, and there was a CEO there, and she had been there for a really long time, and she knew my family, she knew me, and she was like, "This is great, we'd love to have you. She said, I can't give you a contract, but you can come and be a private practice general surgeon and the hospital will support you." It's like, great. So there was a couple other general surgeons there, and they fucking hated this idea, of course, because it's a small town. In that town, it was, the cost of living was high, and they wanted to make sure they could pay for all their fancy toys and their expensive house and their country club access. Right? So I met with one of them. He said, "Yeah, I will support you, and I will, we weren't partners, but we were, he was renting an office to me." And so I felt like, and he was an older guy, I thought this was a good idea for, to kind of partner up. I wasn't business partners with him, but at least he would be, I could ask him questions and I could learn from him and stuff like that. It turned out to be not even close to that. Basically, none of those guys wanted me there because I was taking their cases and revenue. And me being stupid, I just thought, or me being young, really, I just thought, hey, I'll just go here, do a great job, be nice to everybody, and I'll be, it'll be easy. And so it turned out that those guys really did not want me there, and even my own partner really, I don't think, wanted me there. I couldn't learn from him. He just wasn't that kind of person, and I don't know if he was necessarily trying to do that, but there was just no communication. There was no me helping him with cases or him helping me. I mean, he helped me with a few cases, and then the only time I helped him was when his assistant was out of town, or there was a problem. Then all of a sudden, I became valuable. I tried to do that for about 3 years, and I made no money, and it just sucked more and more. Actually, I put one of the guys out of business. So anyway, because he was just a total jerk and nobody really liked him, so that was kind of easy. So anyway, I decided that I needed to do something else. I started doing locum surgery, which is just travel gigs here and there, like a week, 2 weeks a month. I got a couple steady jobs, sort of, which were out of town. I would have to drive. I'd be gone from my place for 2 weeks at a time, and that was a tough deal for my little doggy and my girlfriend at the time. She didn't like that either. So I started looking for a new job, and so I found this company called M-Care, and they staff surgeons, mostly trauma surgeons, but mostly like acute care surgery, so emergency general surgery and some trauma. Mostly level 2 places, a few level 1 hospitals. And I didn't want to move to Florida, but they had an opening in Florida. And the reason I liked it is because it was 7 days on, 7 12s on, and then 7 off. 7 on, 7 off. So I was working 2 weeks a month, right? 26 weeks a year, and getting a full-time salary. So that sounded pretty good. I moved to Orlando, and it was pretty good. Honestly, it was kind of a new program, so it wasn't too busy at first, and then it picked up, and it's very busy now. That was really good. There were some other older surgeons there that I could learn from. That was very important. That's what I learned. It was super important if you're going to go into practice right out of residency. You need people stacked kind of like in ages and experience. And so if the oldest guy with the most experience is not there, there's somebody else, that you can talk to and say, hey, I just want to run this case by you. And, what do you think? Blah, blah. You may be right. You may be wrong. He may say, oh, you need to operate, or no, you don't need to operate when you thought the other, or whatever. It's still a learning process outside of residency. I think that was one of the biggest maybe mistakes that I made. I thought, oh, well, I'm done with residency and I can just go practice and stuff. And it's just like, actually one orthopedic surgeon told me one time when I was in med school, he goes, do you know what I remember from residency? I was like, no, what? He goes, absolutely nothing. And so his point is that it's a continuous learning process, and that's a big deal outside of residency. And never think that, because I'm a fifth year resident, like I'm taking care of all these crazy patients in the hospital, like if you're in a big program or something, that you can just take care of anybody outside. When you're done, you're always running into new cases and things that you've never seen before. So it's always important to have somebody there to back you up, and just to call. Like that was the biggest thing, is I just felt like I couldn't call anybody there. I did call those guys there, but it was met with opposition basically. And so when I got to Florida, it was really nice to have somebody and start learning from people again. And I understood that was super important. So that's super important for you guys too. Always remember, like when you're getting out of residency, and you're looking at a job, who are your mentors? Because those people, you will become those people, right? If they're like angry all the time and they're throwing instruments and stuff, and you will become that. And so that's really important. You make sure that you don't forget that the 5 people that you hang out with the most, that's who you are. That's who you are in income. That's who you are in personality. It's really, we're very influential, or we're very influenced as humans from other people. So that's a big deal. So anyway, I got there, and it was a good job, but it's also it's a tough job. It's 12-hour shifts. 12-hour shifts are never 12-hour shifts. They end up to be 13, 14. And then you drive home. I was driving home 45 minutes a day. So basically, I left my house at 6 a.m. I get up at 5:30. I leave at 6 a.m. I get there at 7. I do a 12-hour shift. I'm working my balls off. I'm up on my feet the entire time. And then I sign out for an hour to 2 hours, and then I go home. By the time I get home, it's 10 p.m. Time to do it again, right? So I go to bed. You eat something real quick, you go to bed, do it again. And so that was, it's a tough deal when you're doing 7 on, 7 off. It's okay, but it never ends up being really 7 on and 7 off, really, because schedules are always different, and everyone, this person wants that off, and blah blah blah. So you start jockeying stuff around, and pretty soon you're doing 10 12s at a time. You're doing 12 12s. I did 14 12s at a time. And sometimes they're days and sometimes they're nights. If they're nights, you don't do shit. You just go home, you go sleep, you come back, you're a freaking vampire, So you never see anybody, you never do anything. So it's tough, but it was a good job. I think it was good at like learning, almost like little mini fellowship kind of thing again. Because remember, I went to like a small town general surgery from a big level 1 hospital, and those guys didn't want to do anything. They didn't want to do the big cases and stuff. They wanted to get everything out of that hospital as soon as possible. They wanted to do hernias, gallbladders, and that was like it. They did some colon cancer and some colectomies and stuff, but everything was super simple. If anybody came in that was like had a broken pelvis or whatever, like the first few weeks of that hospital, I kept somebody that had broken pelvis because I'm like used to that, and they were shitting their pants. Like the nurses tortured me, the administration tortured me until I transferred that patient out. And the guy was fine. Like he just needed a little bit of blood and be watched and PT, all that other stuff. But they just like lost their fucking shit. So I learned a very important lesson when you like if you're in a level 1 trauma center, a big, busy hospital, and then you go to a smaller hospital, it's no longer what you can take care of, it's what the hospital and that system can take care of. And those are often two very different things. Even now, when I'm in the level 2 hospitals, they are not comfortable and don't understand the systems that I have experience with. And so it's a very frustrating thing to go in and say, okay, these things need to happen, and they don't happen. It's not to the point where it involves patient safety. The patients are still safe, but you see things that are going to be problems, and it's like a train wreck. Like, you can't stop a train wreck. You see where it's going to happen, but you can't stop it. That's the kind of things that I experience now. So I'm actually driving to a new hospital where I'm going to get privileges and get my orientation and badge today. But so what I'm doing now is I was at MCare, and I was in Orlando for a while doing that, basically 712s, and then now I'm in Salt Lake City, and I'm doing a level 2 trauma center. But we do it different because it's just not it's not as busy, and so we're doing 24s. So I'll do like a 24 7 days a week, or for 10 days, or even 2 weeks sometimes. And so I'll be on call constantly for 7 days to 2 weeks. And so and sometimes it's super busy, and sometimes it's not. Like, most of the time I can stay at home because I'm so close to the hospital. Like, I can get there if trauma happens within, like 10 minutes. And other times, I stayed at the hospital for three days in a row one time. And then now what I'm doing is we're doing a different hospital with actually my brother-in-law, which is probably a bad idea, but we'll find out. It's just because it's never good to do business with relatives. That's what everybody says, right? So I'm working with a company that I'm helping grow their market share of acute care surgery. So only acute care surgery, no trauma. I think maybe it's a level 3 trauma center, which means you don't do a lot of trauma stuff. It's mostly stabilized pack and shit kind of thing. And so we're just doing acute care surgery, and we're just taking like as much call as we can get per month. So right now I just have 5 days a month. And other than that, I'm not sure if we're going to do elective surgery. I think a new model that say MCare and these other companies are looking at is having surgeons that are doing acute care surgery or emergency surgery stuff, not do the elective stuff. And that's because the elective stuff, the emergency things get in the way of the elective surgery. So if you're on call and you take, you have stuff in the middle of the night, and then all of a sudden you have a case, like 10 cases, but maybe some people do have 10 cases, maybe scopes or something. So maybe you have 4 hernias in the next day, and you're up all night. Now, is that a great idea for you to be up all night and then do 4 cases the next day? So now you're up like almost 48 hours, like maybe like 36 hours. So they're looking at just having that surgeon do like a 24-hour shift, and then that's it. And so that's what we're kind of trying to do there. I'll do like 5 days a month, probably more, probably end up with a total of like maybe 10 calls a month, but I'm not doing anything else. We'll do a clinic on like 1 day a week, but no elective surgery. And so then I just round, like the days I'm not on call, I'll just round and see those patients and take care of anything. Of course, you sometimes still have surgeries to do when you're not on call, like leftover stuff from yesterday or 2 days ago or whatever. So that, you end up doing surgery not only on your call days, but also on your non-call days. But so what happens, you'll be on for the company or for your practice for like 2 weeks out of the month, but you're really taking call for the hospital only 5 days, or maybe 7 days or 8 days or something like that. So we'll see if that's better. I don't really know. But so there's a lot of different ways to do this. I think we're getting away from private practice model just because it's the administrative kind of burden is too much. There's a lot of government oversight. It's a lot of kind of housekeeping things that a general surgeon by himself with one secretary is going to be you know, like overwhelmed with the stuff to do all the time, and to always keep up electronic medical records. You know, you have to have people making sure that it's secure and all that stuff. It's a lot of work, and I don't think it's a great idea to do by yourself, because I actually tried to do that and it was terrible. I wasn't even that busy and it was terrible. So I think my recommendation, if you're getting out of residency, is to get a group, to get a, you know, a medium to large size group, and make sure you have people, kind of mentors that are great, that you trust, or you at least you think you trust, that are, you know, able to teach you everything, and then you don't have to worry about the administrative stuff. You don't want to do that. Hey, I appreciate you guys watching this video. I'm gonna get some coffee right now, and I'll talk to you later.